to the Jersey Shorts podcast. I'm Rain, and this is Juan with me. It's been 2 weeks.
Two
Yeah,
long
2 weeks.
weeks.
Yes, 2 long weeks since we had an episode. Right now, Miguel isn't with us. He's not feeling well. And Epic, I think he's celebrating something with
Yeah,
someone, his special son, someone. So he couldn't be here with us. But hopefully, next week, episode 11, all four of us would be available and will give us will give our takes for the new season. Um, the NBA is slowly coming back.
it's
It's not
here.
officially back.
It's here,
Yeah,
but it's
it's here,
here.
but it's not
It's
officially
here.
back.
Yeah,
Yes. The preseason games have started, and there's been a ton of interesting things that have, happened over the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And
Yes,
I
we miss a
was
ton.
I was yeah, I regret not making an episode last week because it was
A crazy
brutal.
day, crazy,
There were
crazy. Yeah,
great trades. Okay, so let's start off with the trades. Okay, we'll deal with the big trade later on. Um, so or we'll just get it out already. Get the elephant out of tackle the elephant of the room. Um, Damian Lillard finally is with a new team. He's
yep.
moved on from the Portland Trailblazers.
And it's not the heat.
And before we talk about his fit with the Milwaukee Bucks, let's talk about Drew Holiday first. So Drew Holiday was traded to the Portland Trailblazers, but then the Blazers, they already have Anthony Simons and
Scoop
Scoot Henderson, two
and shade and sharp.
great prospects. That's true. So I logically they traded him to. This was a surprise to me. Actually, they traded him to the Boston
Boston
Celtics,
Celtics. Yes,
and that immediately made them favorites to many people,
mostly
as
Boston
the title
fans.
favorites. Yeah, Boston Celtics fans obviously they they were surprised with that. Everyone was surprised with it because no one knew um, that would happen. Okay, so before we talk about Drew and Dame, let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. He
Oh
was
yeah,
part of the deal,
uh,
the three-team
three
deal that
team
made it happen. In exchange for DeAndre Ayton, the Suns got Yusuf
Nurkic
Nurkic,
and
which I
I
think
think
isn't much of an
yeah.
upgrade. And they got Grayson Allen as well
Yes,
from the Bucks.
from the Bucks.
I can't remember who are the other people, who are the other players they got, but for me personally, I don't think it's that much of an upgrade. But he's Nurkic is a better rebounder than Aiton, and if he doesn't play well, it's because he's injured. It's not a lack of
Yeah,
effort for
he's
him
been injured
compared
prone
to.
the past 2 seasons.
That's true. He's been injured many times before. So, okay, I want to hear your thoughts first on the Aiton trade. How do you think he'd fit well with the Blazers? Now that he's out from Phoenix.
For Aiton to go to the Blazers, I think that's the best thing that could have happened to him, since he's probably
Mm,
gonna be
yeah,
he's probably gonna have his best season of his career in Portland. He's probably the number one option, or probably number two behind Simons or Scoot, if they
or
want.
Scoot. Yeah.
Yeah, or if they want to, fast track him to, to wherever they want him to be. But it's a great situation for Aiton. He can finally show his haters like you that he can
I
produce.
mean, yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
it's his sixth season. He has not been an all star. He's never been, close to being an all star. And maybe it's his final chance to, live up to the hype of being a number one pick. right? So it's a make or
Yeah,
break season for him. Then as for the Suns, I mean, the most baffling thing that I read from analysis of the trade was that the Suns picked Nurkic because of his defense, and I was like, what?
no, he
Nurkic
doesn't
does
have any defense.
Yeah, Nurkic doesn't play a lot of defense. I mean, maybe he
Yeah,
can. I mean, I think one of the reasons for that per se is if they face Jokic and the Nuggets, he knows Jokic's game. They're former teammates, and he's big.
yeah. I
He's
mean,
huge.
they
He's
played
bigger.
before.
Yeah, he's bigger than Aiton. So I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why. He's big bodied. He's probably bigger and bulkier than Jokic, but Jokic is still gonna eat him alive. But another thing for the Suns is they improve their depth with that uh, Aiton trade. I think they got Grayson Allen. You mentioned that earlier. The other two are wait, I can check. Nasir Little, another great
Yeah,
wing. Well, not great, another good wing, and Keon Johnson. I think second year, second year player from the Blazers. So the Suns are stacked. I mean, they had to do it because Kevin Durant hasn't had the healthiest past 4 seasons, so you need that depth, and Booker as well. Booker has been
yeah.
nursing like his hammy for the past 2 seasons, so they needed that. And Bill has his own injury problems in the past with his shin and his leg. So you really need the great depth. So they did that. So props to the Suns, but they're not reaching the they're not
Oh,
reaching
okay. We're doing
the
that.
yeah, they're not reaching the Western Conference Finals with this season. So I already have the hot take for the Suns. You're not gonna like that, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't enjoy that, obviously. But yeah, okay. I'm just gonna address the Suns. The thing is, they really need a point guard, for it to work. I did make a piece for Valley of the Suns where I proposed the idea of Devin Booker potentially being the team's number one option
Oh,
when it comes to being a point guard.
he'll be the point
Yeah, I
guard.
mean, he played, he's played that position before. Like at times, there were stretches in different games where he would play the point guard. So I think he'd be a great or an effective point guard. I just don't want him to go down that route where
Yeah,
that the same route that James Harden took,
yeah.
where he became a point guard and he just, I don't know,
Dribble,
kind of like
dribble.
made the game uninteresting. Yeah.
Yeah, dribble, dribble.
So dribble, dribble. So that's just my take. For the trade, I'm happy that Aiden finally
Yeah,
got
Aiden's
his.
gone.
He's gone. I mean, I'm thankful for the things that he's done with this for the Suns.
What did he do?
Remember that? I mean, he did that clutch alley oop
Oh yeah,
against
the
the Clippers
putball. Yeah,
in
oh,
that
I
one
looked
post
down.
game
Yeah, yeah,
when they
yeah,
went to the finals. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
So there's that. Um, Other than that, I can't remember anything. Um, but it's like obvious at the time that he wanted to leave because his role was reduced and stuff.
Yeah, it became the fourth
So
option.
I think I think he'll have a breakout season, and I wouldn't complain. I would complain. I wouldn't be mad at it because it's obvious that he doesn't enjoy playing in Phoenix. So and he did address like it in during their media day. He said that he's dominating. He's gonna dominate. I'm just gonna let him have his moment. I'll just let him have his moment because
Okay, keep the
it's
receipt. Keep the receipt, man.
what will he dominate actually really, but I won't be surprised if he dominates this season. All star, I think
No, no.
he won't be an all star, but he'll have a breakout season. He'll probably have 22-10 or 22-12 this season. For because it's a tanking team, it's a lottery
Yeah,
team. They'll be having
That
empty
makes sense.
stats.
Yeah.
Um, as for the Suns, I'm not too happy or I'm not too mad about Nurkic. He's a decent center. He's a decent starter. The thing is, all starters, all four of the starters, Beal, Booker, KD, and Nurkic, they've got history in problems over the past few
Oh yeah.
seasons. So it's hard to root for them. Like how how far will they take this team um this season, especially in the postseason. So aside from that, the holiday trade to the Celtics, uh, I think I think it's a loss for the Bucks that they traded Holiday because the Holiday is the entire team's defense. Obviously, I remember back when Lopez, I think not Lopez, but when during the time when Chris Middleton was missing games due to injuries, various injuries, and even Giannis, they were having a difficult time with the defense. And he was asked about the rim protection. Holiday was asked about the uh, rim protection, the interior defense, and asking how Brooke has done it. And I remember Holiday was like, "I'm the rim protector of the team" and stuff. So that alone, it shows the fans, people that Holiday takes defense seriously,
Very
and that's why
underrated.
it's a big loss. Yeah, it's a big loss for the Bucks, but for the Boston Celtics, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. They went from Marcus Smart, who was Defensive Player of the Year, to Holiday, who should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He should have had the award, or
At least
one
once,
award
right?
or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So at least once. So it's a huge upgrade. Plus, he's more reliable um, as a 3-point shooter compared to Marcus Smart, and he's a true point guard because he's played the point guard position throughout his entire career. For Marcus Smart, he was a tweener, more of like a two guard, and he started off as a two guard and then transitioned to a one guard. So props to the Celtics for pulling the trigger in Malcolm Brogdon, because that relationship with Malcolm Brogdon
Yeah.
was
So it
ruined
was over.
already.
Yeah, it was over.
It was ruined. So good thing they took the bait, and got Holiday before any other team got it. So what's your take on the Holiday trade?
Uh, I mean, I'll counter your assessment of it's a huge loss for the Bucks. It's a loss for the Bucks, but they got Dame. So Dame is much better than Drew. Uh, offensively, like by far, much better than Drew. And Drew's a much better defensive presence over Dame. But
Yeah,
I think the Bucks are hoping that you know Middleton would be healthy because Middleton was a good defensive player. A few years back, Pat Connaughton can defend, not as great as Drew, obviously, but I think they're gonna rely on probably their twin towers in Giannis and uh,
Brook
Brook
Lopez.
Lopez in you know maintaining their defensive identity. Because Giannis had he was not that great defensively last year.
Yeah,
If I may recall, he didn't have a great defensive season last year. It was Brook Lopez who had a great defensive season last year. He was a top three defensive player of the year in voting. I don't know if he came second or third behind Jaren Jackson. So the Bucks knew what they were getting in the defensive end when they let Drew go, and with Dame now in the offense for the Bucks, Giannis can get some rest because he was the
yeah,
offense of the Bucks past 3 seasons, and he hasn't played with someone like Dame, who's probably a much better scorer than him. So the scoring load is gonna free up Giannis to be a menace on the defensive end. I mean, Giannis has the length to what do you call this? Be on the perimeter, and if someone gets past him, Brook is gonna be there, or Giannis is just gonna chase him with his long arms. So I don't know if it's too early to judge if the Bucks lost the trade, but they're probably gonna still gonna be a great team. As for the Celtics, great 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 deal for Boston, since they managed to replace Marcus Smart with Drew Holiday. Uh, I think the difference between them is marginal, because Marcus Smart was the
Yeah.
beating heart of that Celtics team. So it's a huge loss in terms of chemistry. But in terms of being a better defender, Drew doesn't flop. The only problem with Smart was he doesn't know when to stop flopping and continue being a great
Yeah.
defender. I mean,
That's
he's a great defender. He won Defensive Player of the Year, but my only gripe with him was he'll get get bumped and flop and doesn't get a call. That's a wasted defensive possession, right? Like
session. Yeah, yeah.
he doesn't know when to stop the flop, because he does it so many times. Like
Is
it's I
is
hate
that
it.
like
I'm like you're a great defensive player. You don't need to do that. You don't need to sell the contact.
yeah.
Like, I mean, you can
Yeah.
sell some, especially charges, but the constant thing that I hate about him, or hate about his game, was ill-timed flops. I mean, that is the Celtics momentum. It was so evident in the 2022 NBA Finals. His ill-timed flops during the 2022 NBA Finals swung the momentum back to the Golden State Warriors, led to a championship. Go Dubs. But with Drew's not gonna flop, like that. He's gonna be a better defender in terms of an overall team defender. Uh, he's
Yeah.
gonna he's gonna take off take off some load, playmaking load from Jalen Brown, who doesn't have a left hand, and
Yeah,
you
he
know,
can't dribble. He can't even put his shorts properly.
right? And with Jason Tatum, you can have Jason Tatum play the scorer. So it's a perfect fit for the Boston Celtics. They got Kristaps, who's gonna spread the floor better than Al Horford, and who's gonna knock down shots better than Al Horford. They're just a little
Yeah.
thinner in the front court, because Robert Williams is a beast defensively. So I don't know if they have anyone who will replace that, because Kristaps is an injury prone guy as well. So if he goes down, they don't have a Grant Williams. Al Horford's like 38 or 37. So their big man depth needs help probably by the trade deadline. So they're gonna run with this current lineup. So both it's a win-win situation for both the Bucks and the Celtics. But I still favor the Bucks much better, because their depth is much better than the than the than the Celtics. So they're,
Yeah.
they're,
Uh,
the Celtics are gonna rely on Peyton Pritchard for as a backup point guard now.
Peyton
So
Pritchard. Yeah,
right,
that's.
right. So that's a big
I
downgrade
mean, he
from
had
my.
a great game earlier. He had a great
Well,
game earlier in the
it's a
preseason games.
it's a preseason game. Everyone, like
Yeah.
Jonathan Kuminga had a great preseason game. I don't know if it's gonna translate for the Warriors, right? So, uh, no knock on Peyton Pritchard, but you're replacing the sixth man of the year basically as a backup point guard. So
Yes. Yes.
right, so
I do. I do appreciate your take on like the Bucks, choosing the Bucks as better, but I don't feel strongly about it. It's not that they lost that much, you know, after the trade, because offensively they're great. They've got shooters everywhere. Even Lopez is a threat. Giannis, he can run, you know, the entire court in like four steps and dominate, um, play both ends of the floor. So offensively, they're great on paper, you know, but defensively, it's gonna it'll be hard on Giannis and Lopez to contain, slashing guards, perimeter players who
Well,
blow by
perimeter wise, I think
Lillard.
they got worse perimeter wise, but interior they're probably
Yeah,
the same.
they're the same interior wise.
Yeah,
So going back to the perimeter defense, you mentioned Chris Middleton as a defender. Yeah, he did have that reputation early in his career, but of course he lost a bit
yeah,
of
the injuries,
athleticism because a lot of injuries over the
injuries.
past seasons.
Yeah, past
And
year alone. Yeah.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think he's the same player defensively because he lost a lot of step speed. And going back to Damian Lillard, the question will be his health as well, because since okay, let me check. Since the last time he played at least 70 games was in the 2018-19 season. He played 80 games. After that, he played 66 and then 67. And then the past
Uh,
two seasons, he only played 29. And then last season, he played 58. So looking at it, he's getting older. He's getting more injury prone. Uh, the question remains as like, will Giannis still be the one to carry the Bucks? Is he
oh,
still alone in terms of like carrying the Bucks offensively? Because if Damian Lillard gets constantly injured, he's in that trend of like constantly getting injured over the past four seasons. So
well,
what if
I
that happens this
I'll
season?
I'll I'll counter that since the only injury prone season Dame had was 2022. Because 2019-2020 he had 66, but this is the COVID
Yeah, yeah.
season. So
This COVID season, then
I don't think he was injured a lot this year.
yeah, yeah.
And
But like,
the 2021 season he played 67, but I think this is a 72 game season. So he only missed
yes, this
5.
was like a yeah.
So
So, but still,
then then
less than
2020,
70 less than
2023 he was shut down, right?
yeah,
He was shut down, so that's why he missed games. I do think he had a hamstring injury. I think he had a ham injury in the early season because
he did
he was
before he got
he
shut down
he was my fantasy player uh like
last
early
season.
season. So I think he had a hamstring issue. But in terms
Yeah,
of he was shut down not because of injuries. He was shut down because they were tanking.
yeah.
So I think the only serious injury that he has was that abdominal one, which was worsened by the
But I think
Olympics.
he had history with his hamstring as well. He's had history with this hamstring injury as well.
Well, I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
like very common.
I don't know about that, but because that's I think that's his only hamstring last season. So that's one,
Yeah,
and then the abdominal one. Then the rest probably are just rest tweaks in
yeah,
there. But I think I think the reason why he only played 29 and he got hamstring issue in the last season. He played in the Olympics, and if you look at the players who
it,
played in the Olympics, KD got injured. Draymond had a bad back. Uh, Drew missed some time as well, but not so much. Middleton got
yeah.
fucked up. Booker had his hammy issue. So I think 2 years removed from the Olympics, I think these guys will be healthy. Uh, Relatively wise, right? Since uh, if you want to get an award, you need to play 65 games. That's a requirement
Yeah,
now.
that's true.
So these guys, especially Embiid, probably Ja, right? So these guys will have to play. I believe that some of these
They
guys are
will.
gonna play through injuries this season because what if all the major guys get injured? Who will be the MVP? Right? That's an interesting. Sorry, I that was a curveball, but I just
Yeah, yeah.
realized what if someone right? What if someone didn't play like the minimum games?
Games
You're right.
required.
Right. What if Tyrese Halliburton had like 80 played all the 82 and he averaged like 25 5 and 5? Will he be the MVP if the
Hmm.
others
Yeah,
right?
that's a loophole.
Yeah, right. So we maybe another
I think
discussion
yeah.
before the season. Discuss.
For the
Let's
season.
know
I
that.
think that's
Yeah,
a great topic for
yeah,
next week
yeah.
because hopefully we'll have Epic and also Miguel back. Um, okay, so yeah, defensively, the Bucks.
Get a
I
little
think
worse. Yeah, get a little worse.
yeah, we should expect a little bit of struggle on that end from them. So let's move on to a more lighter tone, more lighter side of the NBA. The NBA Media Day happened
Hey,
last week, right?
yes.
And wow, boy, it was a treat. Okay, so let's talk about first Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler and his face, emo face. Um,
he's the
he's he's the best NBA troll ever. Last year he put on dreadlocks, and then after the media day, after his photos got taken, he removed it
yeah, he's
and
back
went back to his normal.
just like this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. And just like this year, that's what he did. He had emo hair. He looked like Outcast. The guy
Oh,
from Outcast.
Andre
Yeah.
3000. Yeah.
No, no, actually, no. He looked like Rihanna,
the,
early Rihanna,
the
early Rihanna.
umbrella Rihanna, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He looked like he's gonna sing Umbrella out of nowhere.
But it was his emo face. He looked like an anime slash a 2000s punk guy. He's
Yeah,
probably
it's a cross between that.
he's probably a member of the My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah.
He can pass
He
as a member for that.
I feel like he could be the muse for Green Day as well. So I mean, he looked like a punk rock and emo rocker. So again, Butler is the NBA's biggest troll for life. I think he's established that he may not win. I don't know, his career isn't over. He may not win a title, but he has that title in him. Like he's the best troll ever. And
Media
going
day
on to
troll though.
more serious. Uh, what was that?
He's the media day troll.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Because
definitely that's true.
he's not a
Uh,
troll on social media, right? So he doesn't troll much. But in terms of the media day, he's gonna do something big. That's that's gonna go viral, right? Like
yes.
it's
Also, he
crazy.
loves to troll with his teammates,
Yeah.
former and
Uh,
current.
did you watch? Bam can contain his laughter when they were taking pictures.
Ah, yeah.
Like
Well, taking pictures, like the three of them, him,
yeah,
Tyler, Bam.
yeah. They can't believe like what's happening. And I think there's a video of Coach Poe speaking to Jimmy,
Yeah,
and Coach Poe was just was just
he couldn't believe
probably
it.
can't believe it. Yeah, like when the image was first shared, like it was nighttime here, and
Yeah, yeah, it
and
was.
I was asked to do the fan reaction. Wait, is this
For
true?
Jimmy.
I thought it was a fucking AI or something, or
I
a
thought it was
fake,
AI too.
it was fake. Then I started seeing like, different angles on the press conference, and but it was was literally
It was real.
yeah,
It
like
was real.
it was so funny. I can't stop laughing that night.
I I didn't believe the photos until I saw video footage of it. So when I saw the video footage of Jimmy Butler rocking the emo hairstyle, with his nails painted
Oh,
black,
the black. Yeah.
and then the piercings on his
And
nose,
it's on his eyebrows. That was that was
eyeliners.
so crazy. He's
Crazy,
the
a dedication, and he even had this long jacket, or long coat, or
oh
large
yeah,
coat.
when he came to the arena, I think he was wearing all
Yeah,
black. He was wearing all black.
that's what he
Look
did.
like an look like an anime guy
He
when he
did.
came to the arena. Yeah, but man,
He was this close to doing the Naruto run, and that was crazy.
I mean,
Uh,
I think it's gonna be funny when the graphics for for NBA promotions comes out. You're gonna see Jimmy.
it's gonna come out soon. It's
It's
coming out soon.
I wonder what the
You're
NBA is
gonna see
thinking.
Jimmy.
I wonder what the NBA is thinking. Like, and I
Like
wonder,
Adam Silver couldn't believe it.
I wonder if more players are gonna start doing it and mess up
As
the yeah and mess up the day photos, right? That's gonna be so funny when that happens. Like, Harden shave his beard. He comes in, shave his beard, right? Something like that. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's gonna be funny. Like Steph going bald, like, clean shaven bald. LeBron
yeah,
clean
yeah.
shaven bald. I mean, that's gonna be something.
He should let it go at
Yeah.
this point. LeBron should let it go. 21st season, just let it go. Um, you mentioned
Harden.
James Harden.
Yes.
Speaking of which, on a more serious note, he was not present at all. And everyone thought it was like, oh, this big, huge drama, drama, drama. And then the next day it was training camp and he showed up. He was like, he acted like nothing happened. So do you think Harden will continue this trend of like not showing up at random times, and then he'll show up the next day or the next game, suit up, and then of course, obviously, he'll be fined and lose a bit of money. But I think he'll be doing that just to get traded. Do you think he'll continue that trend?
Well, I don't know if he'll go absent randomly. He's not gonna play games randomly because the Sixer
Because he's gonna lose money.
not just the money, the new CBA prevents him from doing that actually
Oh yeah, that's
because
true.
once once the Sixers decided that he was unprofessional, they can prevent him from being a free agent next year. So the Sixers
Yeah,
literally
that's
controls
a
him.
clause.
So he should have just didn't opted in. He should have just waited for an offer in free agency. But it's at a lose-lose situation for both sides. I mean, Harden's not gonna get a contract that he wants anymore. He's not gonna get a huge contract. He's gonna go the Westbrook route, like 8 million for 2 years, something like that. Then for the Sixers, you can get the package you want for Harden. That's gonna help the team beat a team like the Celtics or the Bucks. So it's a lose-lose situation. There's no way it's gonna end good for both sides because Harden's reputation is basically damaged. If the
Oh
Sixers,
yeah, that's
right,
true.
and if the Sixers fail, uh, Maury's gonna be fired. Embiid's probably gonna want to trade, right? So it's a bad situation for the Sixers and Harden. So
It is.
it's I
And
mean
I saw news earlier about the situation. It said that the Clippers are still interested in
oh
pursuing
they
him.
will be, yeah.
However, they're not interested, or they don't plan in changing or giving more
Yeah, why?
for
Right? What's the
because
point for
yeah,
the
interesting.
Clippers, right? What's the point for the Clippers?
Yeah, interestingly, the reason is because they they're the only team that's gunning for James Harden. So there's no reason for them to up their game or their
Yeah,
offer. So which makes sense. I understand what the Clippers are doing. They're trying to win a championship with washed up stars. I don't know if that's going to work.
especially in the
But
West. So no,
I mean, with the exception of Paul George and maybe Kawhi Leonard, we're not entirely sure if he's washed or not. He's just very injured. That's it. He's always injured, and so
wait, who Kawhi
he he could,
or James?
yeah, Kawhi.
Oh, Kawhi. Yeah, oh, he's injured again. Yeah,
Yeah, for I think James Harden um, will be traded this season, but but it would it would be he'd have to experience hell first with the Sixers. Like, uh, you're gonna have to endure playing under Daryl Morey. Remember during the off season he was like not gonna be part of an organization where Daryl Morey is where in stuff like that. So I think he'll have to
and
endure that first,
he
and
has no
after
choice.
that he has no choice. He has no choice. He signed a contract with them and they didn't trade him in the off season. So moving on to more media day news. Um, your Warriors
Yeah,
had a
they we
very
beat
unusual person
we beat the
player.
Lakers in the preseason. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
The Lakers
uh,
are already blaming Cam Reddish and Christian Wood.
and Christian Wood. I did see. Okay, let's talk about Cam Reddish first.
First game of the
I talked
season.
to I talked to one of our managers
Oh yeah.
earlier today, and I was like, I can do the turnovers that Cam Reddish did last night, but I'm not a millionaire. So why is that the case? Because obviously I think he's losing confidence. Um,
Tim's
he's
gonna do that.
terrible. He's
and he,
terrible,
and he
and
got injured, which is
yeah,
which sucks. Sucks for
it's
him.
it's gonna be a long
It's gonna be a long
it's gonna
season
be a
for him.
long season for him if he does not get traded or not, waived by the Lakers because he's playing for LA and that fan base,
Oh
the way
yeah.
they criticize players,
They're already
it's
gunning
gonna
for
be
him.
very hard.
They're already gunning
They're
for
gunning
him.
for his ass. So Christian Wood, he still has a chance to fix his mistakes because it's preseason games. But for Reddish, it's been a downward trend for him since getting drafted, I guess, or no, since being traded by the Knicks, it's been a downward trend for him. So for Cam Reddish, yikes, bro. I can do what you can. It's just I'm not getting paid enough. So if I get paid just like you, I'd turn the ball more, you know. But going back to the Warriors, you guys, the Warriors,
Chris Paul.
they had, of course, they had Chris Paul, unusual, and most fans were like, "This is the equivalent of Shaq being to the Celtics." Do you agree with that?
Well, kind of,
Kind of.
because one of the players that tried preventing the Warriors from winning a championship in the West was Chris Paul. And, 2017,
Will he
28,
prevent the Warriors to win this year?
almost, not really, because
No. Okay.
he,
Okay.
they were, they, the Warriors offense looked much better already this season. In the first preseason game, I think it's night and day compared to last season in terms of just ball movement. So I was pretty happy with how they performed.
And
Uh,
they didn't have Draymond as well.
well, I don't. Well, that's another one. But Draymond didn't punch someone this summer,
Oh,
so
yeah, of course.
that's gonna be a big
Yeah,
difference
but
as well.
but I just want to point out that they haven't. had the chance to play with Draymond yet. So we don't know the full power of the Warriors yet, right?
Well, it's I the only problem I'm seeing is when Draymond and Chris Paul are in the same lineup. They basically do the
Yeah.
same thing in offense, but you know, uh, they're gonna make it work. I think they're gonna make it work. They literally have the greatest point guard of his generation. You have the greatest, shooter of his generation is gonna be opening up the offense. Clay looked fantastic shooting the ball in the
Yeah.
Warriors.
I think he's the
And,
greatest catch and shoot player.
yeah,
Like,
and the only problem with Clay throughout his career, he's gonna have a hot streak, then he's gonna go on a cold streak, then he's gonna get a
yeah.
hot streak. Like that's what happened in the
And
playoffs. He finished the regular season hot, then just went cold in the playoffs.
for the postseason, yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't have a bad season like whatever everyone was talking about in the regular in the playoffs against the Lakers. Clay had a really good season considering the two major injuries he had. He had a great first real first season since those injuries. He averaged like 20 points, shot 36 something from the threes. He looked good. And he ended that regular season on hot streak, then just went cold. That's the story of Clay's career, right? He's gonna go hot 2 months. He's gonna cold 2 months. He's gonna go hot again. He's
Yeah.
gonna go cold. So I don't mind that. Uh, Jonathan Kuminga played really well, but he also did play really well last season, preseason. So I'm not gonna.
But he did
Uh,
pass to Steph, who was standing by the
well,
bench.
it's Steph's fault. It's Steph's fault. Like Steph was like
Why
waving
was he
still.
standing?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Chris Paul laughed at him, so I don't know why. But it's probably that's what's great about Steph. He was cheering the guys up the first preseason game. He was excited for the season. So, you know, it's there's a different vibe with this Warriors team. It's night and day last season, and
Yeah.
hoping for the best really. And I think the only real problem for them moving forward will be how do you play Chris Paul and Draymond Green together, and overall their health. Draymond's injured already. Chris Paul is known for his
Yeah. The
injuries.
started.
Steph
Yeah.
Curry had like a couple of major injuries last season. Klay Thompson,
And plays injury prone now.
yes. Andrew Wiggins missed more than half of the games last season. But that's also
Well,
personal reasons. But
yeah, personal reasons.
if Kevin Looney is the only
Yeah.
guy who can play the entire season, it's you still have a problem. But they also have a better depth this season compared to last year. They found
Yeah.
Dario Saric looked a perfect fit already for the Warriors. He's
You
gonna
can
be
stretch the floor. That's
yeah, and
nice.
he can play the Draymond role as well if Draymond is not there. He's basically Bielitsa from the 2022 team.
Yeah.
He can shoot, he can drive, he can pass. So it's gonna be a smooth transition for that. They replaced Iggy with Rudy Gay as their veteran voice. So that's a good sign as well. Who else is their additional one? Garuba.
I don't know much.
Garuba.
Who?
The former
Oh, it's Garuba.
the former Rockets
Spanish big man.
the former Rockets first rounder. So they have him in a two-way. Uh I forgot the name of the rookie. He's got that Polish surname that's hard to pronounce. I forgot.
I can't. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Podmitsky or something like that. It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Man. Polish surnames are hard to pronounce. But overall, Chris Paul's gonna fit. He's just gonna. I'm just worried he's gonna
Yeah.
get injured. He's dunking. Did you see him dunk in training? Like he tried to dunk the ball.
Who?
They did talk about Chris Paul. Like,
Oh, you did. I did see that.
dude, you injured your hamstring trying to grab a rebound and you're dunking. Stop it, right?
Yeah, you mean the Warriors need him for
Yes,
healthy for the rest of the season.
yes, yes. Like, why would you go dunk the ball when grabbing a rebound
Um,
pulls your hamstring, pulls you pull your groin, right? That
yeah,
was
yeah.
baffling. That was baffling. I was like, impressive for a 38-year-old or 39-year-old, but why? You, there's no point. Yeah, there's
There's
no
no
point.
point exactly. All right, so moving on to a different media day. Last media day news that I think is worth talking about was the commitment of Joel Embiid to Team USA.
Oh, big
He gained
change.
French citizenship and U.S. citizenship, so he's allowed to play for either countries.
Yes.
He decided to join the Team USA super team. Um, his reason is because his son
Yeah.
is American and he wants to honor his son's U.S. citizenship. And I call BS. He just wants an easy way to gold. That's just
This
it. I mean, how could you refuse a team that has LeBron James, who's potentially committing, KD, who committed, who else? Steph, who could join the team, and so much more. Who else?
Booker,
There are a lot of
Booker,
players who are committing, right?
Booker, Tatum,
So
probably Dame.
Tatum, of course.
Yes.
Dame, Jalen Brown did drop hints that he could join the
But not,
team.
they're not gonna make the
Who
cut.
else?
It's not gonna make the cut.
Who
Sorry,
Jalen Brown?
Jalen Brown. He's not gonna make the cut. He's got no left
I
hand.
mean, he can, but as long as he doesn't dribble left. Um, who else? A lot of players. I think they're pursuing Drew
Drew.
Holiday.
Yeah.
I saw in the news. Booker, he's interested. He did say his intentions about it. He said he's
Yep.
interested in playing.
Probably Ant.
Um,
Ant is gonna be the only holdover. Probably him and
yeah, I
Burton.
do have this. I do have a full list here. I did a piece about it a week ago. So we have KD, Bam. These are the players who have said, expressed their interest. KD, Bam, DeMar DeRozan, Booker, Beal, Jalen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Chris
Oh, for
Middleton, Julius
Mitchell.
Erving, Zach Levine, Aaron Gordon, Fred VanVleet, Brook Lopez, Kyrie, Draymond, Zion, Paul George, Kawhi, and
Zion.
Kyle Kuzma. So obviously, not
Zion.
everyone here will be in the team, but the coaches, the program will be selecting the best of the best.
Yes.
So the players who have all star selections in them have an advantage, have leverage. And I think Joel Embiid is taking the easy way out. He's like, oh, I just see, GOAT players, KD and LeBron, who are great players, joining Team USA. I'm American. I happen to have American citizenship, so why not join America? Um, it's it's boring, man. It's gonna be. I still would want to see them play how they make it work, but it's at this point it's given that they'll win gold, and
I don't know.
with
I don't know if they win gold.
with the
I'll have my doubts
okay
over the US.
okay why? Tell me why.
First and foremost, it's a year away, and you don't know what's gonna happen in a year's time. Like, injuries are gonna happen. Injuries are gonna happen. These players are paid professionally for millions of dollars, and they really don't have a redemption story because it was the FIFA World Cup, not the Olympics. So you can call them a redeem team. They are still the defending Olympic champions. And
Yeah,
when these players
but in
realize,
terms of like international basketball, they kind of have to redeem a bit something.
I don't know, LeBron's just trying to make headlines for me. I
Hmm.
doubt he's
Yeah.
with all the wear and
That's what
tear
he
in
does.
his look at look at the wear and tear in his body. I have my doubts he's gonna play in the Olympics next year. And if it does, good for him. But you want to play with your son or your sons and playing the whole year because after if they make it to the NBA finals, they only have like a week
Yeah.
in preparation with the Olympics. Then after the Olympics,
For
you'll
the
have
finals.
less than a month to prepare for the next season. As a 39-year-old, you're not gonna beat Father Time. You're gonna get injured for that. And I don't know if he's
Yeah,
gonna risk that. I don't know if he's gonna risk that,
postseason
especially
basketball is postseason basketball is intense, like physically straining.
it's different. He knows that. I do, Kevin Durant as well. He's 35, injured every season. I don't know if his body's gonna take that as well, especially if this season the Suns rely too much on him. So defensively, like he's their best defensive player, so they're gonna rely on him, defensively. And who's the other guys? Embiid is synonymous to injuries. So I don't know if, especially he's gonna get injured in the playoffs. That's the trend for Joel.
Oh,
He's gonna have a really great.
yeah.
He's gonna have a relatively healthy regular season, but no matter what happens, he's gonna get injured in the postseason. And when he gets injured in the postseason, you bet yourself, I'm passing on the Olympics. I'll prioritize my health. Who else? Steph. Probably
That,
I can see Steph playing since that's the only thing on his resume that's missing,
that's a
right?
gold or
Yeah,
even
that's a
just a
that's a
medal.
that's a gold medal in the Olympics. But if he suffers like a lot of injuries this season, like the way he got injured the last season, he's not gonna commit. Even if it's Steve Kerr, I don't see him. I don't see him committing. Right? It's gonna be tough for USA to get those commitments in a year's time. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors that has to be perfect because most of these players are gonna be in the playoffs. They're gonna have their workload cut out for them. And another thing, it's if you get all superstars, you're gonna have the same problems with the with like in the World Cup because players don't know
Yeah.
playing other roles except being the superstar, and you need more
Yeah, that's the
than
thing.
you need more than
It was like for the last FIBA World Cup, there were no superstars, but they didn't
no,
know how to play
man,
their role.
still I think it's still gonna be a problem for even if it's the
Yeah,
veterans. Look at the redeem team. I think Kobe and LeBron butted heads, right?
they did. I
They
think
did,
I think
right?
slightly.
And in terms of the competition that year, 2008, Spain gave them hell in the finals. And the current national teams are much better than the 2008 Spain teams. So, right, it's not gonna be a. They're gonna have the most talent, but it's no longer, as Steve Kerr said, it's no longer the 1992 Olympics. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be harder. Last 2020 2021 slash Tokyo, in Tokyo, different, so different. It was a pandemic year, so not everyone
Yeah,
was there, even for other national teams. So yeah, I think there there's no sure thing for the gold, even if you have Embiid, LeBron. Like Kerr, I don't know if Kerr's the best coach to have there. As much as I love
yeah.
Steve Kerr, right? I don't know if he's the best coach
I
to
think
have
big
there.
men like Embiid, yeah, big men like Embiid, and I don't know who else,
They have
who other big men
they
will commit.
they if if you have a lot of superstars, they have a lot of personalities, and you need someone with a strict mentality. And Steve Kerr's not strict. He can be angry
Like,
and stuff like that,
are
but he's
you are you are you hinting at Greg Popovich?
yeah. Greg Popovich was strict. Like the last
Yeah,
coaches for Team USA are strict. Mike Krzyzewski is is a mean guy.
yeah. Sports
Right? He's a
guy.
mean guy, and Greg Popovich is a mean guy as well. And Steve Kerr is different. He's more of a
So who?
calm guy. He gets fired up
Yeah.
when needed, but in terms of being like Pop, he's far from Pop. He's far from Pop because uh you have someone like Draymond to be that fire. So it's a different mash up. So I don't know how uh the USA should go about it. And another interesting thing, a report of Drew Holiday being recruited out of
Yeah,
one of the 12 is a huge it's a huge sign that they're not gonna call up all superstars. They want some players who know how to play their roles.
that's
So,
true. Just like
right?
similarly to other Team USA iterations, like the 2012 Team USA, like they had Anthony Davis, who is like who
Coach
hadn't played in the
in the
NBA
NBA.
because they
Who
just
else?
needed
Who else
him
was
as a
that?
lob threat.
I think the 2008 had.
Andre Iguodala,
I think that.
2008, they had Kid.
I think no. I think they had. The kid was still a great pointer back then. I think they had Tayshaun Prince and Carlos Boozer as those guys. And I think in
Yeah, I
2008.
think was Michael Red at in the roster as well? Because yes, Boozer
I
was
forgot about
there.
Michael Red. But I
I
think Michael Red
I
was
think
there.
Michael Red was there.
Let's see the 2008 team. Let's see the
I mean,
2008
we
team.
do have the access to the internet, so I think Michael Red was part of the '08 Redeem team. Um, that was so I can't remember every single player, but
I
of
think
course
Michael Red
we
was
all
there.
know Ald Wade was there.
Wait, where's that?
Yeah. So in
2008.
2012 they had
They
Kevin
had,
Love, they had AD. Okay, what do you got?
for the 2008, you had Boozer. You can say this as role players. Boozer, Michael Red, uh, Tayshaun Prince are the so-called uh, role
Role
players,
players.
role player types. Then you have your superstars in Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, and so secondary stars in Dwayne Wade, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, and Melo. So
Yeah,
it's a perfect
mix of
perfect
facts.
mix of stars, all stars and superstars. So you need to have that mix if you want to be the USA needs that if they want to be successful in Paris next year.
That's true. That's
Because
true.
and
I do want to see.
I think another one, I think another one factor. Uh, International teams are no longer afraid of the US. That's a
Yeah,
huge
they're not.
factor.
They're not.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah, they're not.
that's a
I do want
determining
to
factor as
see
well.
a mix of a mix of old stars, experienced stars,
Yes.
and rising stars like Anthony Edwards, um, possibly even Tyrese Halliburton. So players like that. Yeah. So
But
Embiid to the US, I'm not a big fan.
okay. Let's try to at least we at least try to have our 12-man roster quickly. Like for 2012, you have Tyson
Sure.
Chandler, who is not an all-star but a great defensive presence.
Well, he
Uh,
was an all star that season. After that, after or before he joined Team USA. He
He
was
was an all-star.
an all star because
Oh, all
yeah,
right, right.
because he won Defensive Player of
So
the
the
Year at
Knicks.
that
It was
time.
the Knicks. So first for Chandler, you probably need someone like Bam who knows how to play his role,
Of
right?
course,
So that's Bam. For KD, it's still KD if you want him. KD and LeBron in terms
KD
of
definitely,
stars.
and then LeBron.
Then
For
for
two
Russell
guard,
Westbrook, probably Steph, right?
hmm
And
yeah,
probably not Deron Williams, right? So who's gonna be the point? Probably Halliburton. You can put Halliburton here, right? He can give you quality minutes.
Halliburton. Yeah, he's grown to become a great point guard
I
now.
I
Who else?
I almost said Shea, but she's Canadian.
Yeah,
But
he's Canadian. He can't. He can't.
right
I do want to put DeMar DeRozan there. I don't know for some
he
odd reason I
yeah
want him there.
for Demar he can play the Jason Kidd role of a veteran as well, right?
Yeah, I
Or
think Booker would be great as a catch and shoot guy.
yeah,
He's deadly.
yeah
I wouldn't want to put Kawhi there, not Kawhi and
yeah,
Zion because they're injury prone.
yeah. And I doubt
That's the only reason.
I doubt they're gonna commit. Well, they can commit. I doubt they're gonna
Yeah,
push through that, right? So then you have
yeah,
someone like Harden, a scorer. So that's probably Ant, right? Then
and of
yeah,
course, obviously.
yeah, and
Oh,
uh,
interesting. I think Brooke should join. Brooke Lopez, a
well,
veteran big man who
I think
can.
it's either gonna be him or
He's
Bam.
forward.
Should be him or
Yeah,
Bam.
because Embiid is a lock already, obviously.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the Anthony Davis of that team.
Yeah.
Uh, they need
So how many more do we need?
someone for Melo and Kevin Love, and probably who's gonna be their Kobe. Yeah, who's gonna
I
be their
think their
Kobe?
Kobe would be Ant.
No, well, Kobe was old here. He was already 33, so he needs it needs
Yeah,
someone to be full of
that could be
experience.
Demar. Yeah. I
For
mean, there's not a lot of old guys who's trying to prove who have tried
yeah,
or
that's Kobe.
shared. Or Paul George.
Paul
Paul
George,
George could
yeah,
be.
yeah, that's Paul George. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Paul George with that. He's no Kobe, but you
Do
know,
you want Kyrie there?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Well,
Yeah. Would you want him there?
players like him. So if the players like him, yeah, sure. But if he's gonna mess up the PR, I don't know if Team USA is
Yeah.
gonna choose him. But if the
Yeah,
players are gonna
obviously.
be the one who's gonna be choosing, I think Kyrie has a great chance if the players voted who they want to be with,
Kyrie is.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know why,
I
but
think the last.
players love Kyrie, right? I don't know why players love Kyrie.
I
They
think
seem to
it's
love him.
because they just see him as a player.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
simply
That's
see
true.
him as a player. That's why. So
They
no,
don't care
no
about what
BS,
he's
no
saying.
drama.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. Yeah.
I think for the final player, do we need just one more?
I think
That
Kevin
could be
Love,
Drew.
the Kevin Love type. Well,
Yeah.
Drew would be like the Iguodala one, who's
Jason
gonna be
Kidd or Iguodala. Yeah.
yeah, the Iguodala one, who's gonna be the unquestioned defensive leader. It's not gonna be Draymond.
Oh yeah.
No, no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no.
I wouldn't want Draymond. I mean,
But
I'm happy for Drew though.
but they do need someone like Draymond if they want, to get under the skin of these European players. Because
Or Canada.
oh, true. Yeah. I mean, they play
They
physical. They play physical, man. It's the FIBA World Cup was an eye opener for them. It was crazy. I think
that's true.
Cam Johnson said it best. They do still have the advantage and talent, but they lack the overall team chemistry that these players have. Because international players
Yeah.
have played with each other for years, And Team USA has always had a reiteration, so they don't have that, you know, what
Like
do
a
you call
solid
this?
set of guys.
Foundation. Yeah, they don't have that
Yeah,
foundation yet.
that's
So, but you know, it's their fault.
yeah,
They're more about stars, not team
yeah,
basketball, right?
that's true. Anyways, the Jersey Shorts episode 10. It's we've had a lot to talk about. We were gone 2 weeks, and it's just the two of us, me and Juan, but we talked a lot.
Yes,
So
which is great. We had a
it
lot
is great.
of things to say after that 2 week lull, right? So it took
Yeah,
an
yeah.
arm, and we have so much to talk about, right? You know, but that's,
Especially if Miguel and Epic, come
yes,
back
yes,
next week. Hopefully next week, next episode.
yes.
Um, so guys, please subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter as well, and Spotify. Um, yeah, it's been a blast. See you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye, guys.